This is the Sports Central Podcast.
All right, Allyson Felix is in the house here on the Sports Central Podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So I have to start with the big news, the big recent news that you had, that you're going to try to make the Olympics again, LA 28. Just tell me here, you're 20 years old plus 20.
20 plus 20,
You'll be
like
21
that.
plus 21 when the Olympic Games
Plus
are here. What made you want to make the comeback?
You know, it's interesting. I never thought I would, but I kind of just had this feeling that kept coming back to me of like, could I? You know, is it possible? And, you know, as you age, it was just a big question to me, like, what can I do at this age? And I also felt like there was this narrative put on women that, like, when you turn 40, you know, you really should be doing less. And so I was like, I kind of put it to the side for a while, and then I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I started, you know, going down the path of thinking of other athletes who have competed for a long time. And I just felt like I wanted to give it a go.
One thing I think about is 7 Olympic gold medals, 11 total, like most, like by any female in track history. Did you wake up one day and like look at all the medals and I'm like, you know what, I think I need one more. Like, take me to that moment where you decided I'm gonna do it.
No, I mean, it's interesting because it's something completely different than thinking about medals. You know, for me, it's about what's possible. You know, it's less about performance and more about, you know, human possibility. And so that's a completely different approach than I've ever taken before. And I think at first I really wanted to do it like quietly and privately. And then in sharing it with other people, they were like, you know, it would be, if you were vulnerable and, you know, did this kind of out loud, I think it would resonate with a lot of other people as well. And so, yeah, I tested the waters first, you know. I was like,
tell me about it. How did you test the waters?
I was just, you know, I started, you know, training again and just wanted to see, did I have the desire, first of all? Like, you know, it's grueling. So to do the workouts and to make that commitment, and could my body, like, withstand these workouts. And so once I kind of saw, you know, the times, and I just wanted to make sure I could, you know, be competitive and all of those things. And once kind of those indicators were there, then I was like, okay, I think I want to give this a shot.
When you say looking at the times, like looking at the time of like how fast you ran, like the 200 meters or the 400 meters, those times?
Just the times that I was in the training that I was doing, like seeing, you know, could I be, and of course, you know, I was talking to my coach and getting his perspective on it, but, you know, seeing if my body still could do these things, you know, because it's been some time. And, you know, I'm looking at trying to make the relay pool, you know, and so I know around what that takes. And so just, you know, I'm not sure how this thing is going to end, but I wanted to make sure that I would have a legitimate shot.
How did the family react to this? Like, hey, I'm trying to make the LA 28 games.
Yeah, my mom, she was harder to convince because she has a hard time watching my races, and, you know, she's like heart palpitations and like all these things. So she thought she was done with all that. And I was trying to explain to her, like, no, Mom, this is something different. Like, for the first time, I do truly feel like I can be happy no matter the outcome, because it's just a different thing. And so, you know, my husband was fully on board. He really, you know, was excited for me. And I think I told my daughter, and I think she could care less.
How old is the daughter?
She's 7.
7, yeah.
So,
she wants to play all the kid games and stuff like that. One thing I think about, though, is like, you were at the Paris Games, right?
As a spectator.
That's what I meant, as a spectator. Did you, when you were watching everything, did a little bit of that kind of like burn inside of you that sparked maybe this comeback?
It was kind of mixed emotions. I think I had just had a baby. It was the first time I got to sit back and watch. So that was really exciting. There were times where I was like, oh, you know, it's such a different feeling to be on the other side. But at that time, I didn't really, you know, have big thoughts around it. It was a little bit after that I started to think, you know, what could be possible.
So I was scrolling on MySpace, and I found this picture. It wasn't on MySpace. Nobody has MySpace anymore. But do you remember, like, who's this guy you're standing next to?
That's way back. LeBron James.
James. Do you remember that moment?
I remember that. Yeah, that was a huge deal. It was the Gatorade Players of the Year. Yeah, we went to the ESPYs, like did the whole thing, and that was right at the beginning.
Yeah, right at the beginning. So 2003, National Gatorade Player of the Year. You were for women's track or girls track, I guess it would be in high school, right?
Yeah.
LeBron James was in basketball. We see what LeBron is doing in his 40s.
Yeah.
Will you reach out to him to say, to kind of like, hey, what worked for you that maybe can help you out in the LA games?
I mean, I would love to pick his brain.
Yeah.
You know, I know that he takes extreme care of his body. I think there's been so many advancements that could really help me. And so I'm excited to gather all of those things and really incorporate it in my buildup. So
when are you going to start practicing or running or training?
Yeah, I'm definitely well into it, you know,
Okay.
And so, you know, we'll go with the cycles of the season, and so October will be a time frame where things kind of bump up another notch. But yeah, things are underway.
So I'm 45. I ran, you know, I like to run.
Yeah.
I get my little 1.5 mile in and stuff like that. But it takes a lot to wake up and like, oh, I gotta go run.
Yeah.
Like, how are you gonna find that strength within yourself to get up and continue to do it, to prove these people wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm dialed in now, you know, once I really put it in the world, it's like, okay, it's happening. But I'm really committed to it. You know, I'm curious of how this ends, and I'm going to give it my all. And, you know, it might work, it might not, but I really want to honor the process, and I'm excited for the journey. I feel like for the first time I can really enjoy all of it, you know, all of the training. And I do really like training. And of course there will be those days where, you know, the body's hurting and you don't feel like it. But I feel like it's such a privilege to be able to pursue something that you're passionate about and that you love.
So the games are going to be in LA 28.
Yeah.
Like, what will it mean to you, Allyson, to run in the Olympics in your hometown?
If that were to happen, I mean, it would be incredible. I mean, to me, that is, if the Olympics weren't going to be in LA, then, you know, I wouldn't be as curious about this.
Also, a big reason why you want to make this attempt, because it's here.
Yeah, I mean, this is my home. You know, the thing I haven't done is competed at a home games. And so if there is a way for me to, you know, to get on that team, I feel like I just have to go for it. But yeah, it would be so special to be able to compete, you know, literally in my hometown.
Are you on the LA 28 planning committee?
I sit on the board. Yeah.
You sit on the board? Like, you can't like sneak your name in there? You don't have that kind of power to do that?
If only it were that easy.
What was that process like for you being a part of that board? What is that
I mean,
like?
it's cool. You know, it's a different experience, and it's been some time that I've been on kind of that side of things, but it's really interesting to see, you know, how you organize an Olympic Games, and it's such a huge production. And, you know, we talk about it's almost like running, you know, 20 different world championships at the same time. And so just seeing, I have such an appreciation now for that side of things as well. And such respect for, you know, how you have to put together a games.
When you train, like, do you train at any, whatever spot you're at? Like, could you go to USC and like train at Allyson Felix Field? Like, it has your name on it.
I hope they would let me on.
Like, well, can Allyson just walk in and be like, people are training, but like, hey, this is named after me. I can just go train. How does that work?
Thankfully, I you know, have a great relationship with the team and the coaches over there, so I think they would let me on. I train, you know, close to my house, but I do feel a lot of love, you know, in my communities and, you know, the places that I get to show up. But yeah, that's one of my favorite tracks for sure.
One thing I think about is, you know, people in sports, we go through these journeys, ups and downs. And I just want you to just try to visualize, you make this Olympic team and you're putting on your track spikes, and right before you're about to go up there, what do you visualize that moment being like for you emotionally?
I think it'll be a moment of gratitude, you know, probably very emotional, taking in the moment. I think it's something, you know, I never really allowed myself to think too much about. I never really thought it was a possibility, or that even at this age I would have permission to go for a dream like this.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if it's able to be realized, you know, it'd be incredible. And even if it's not, I think just the journey to trying is something that I think I'll learn a lot from.
How's being a mom going?
It's my greatest role. You know, some days, you know, I got it all in order. Other days, they're chaotic. And,
I get it.
Yeah, you know that life.
Yep, I do.
But I love it. It's so much fun.
One of the things that we can't help but recognize is that you made a big sacrifice in being a mom and the whole deal with Nike and stuff like that. But your sacrifice paved the way and changed some things for other athletes. Do you ever look back on the impact that your decision made?
Yeah, I think, this past couple years, absolutely, because I've been able to be a fan and to watch a lot of these athletes. And I'm so grateful that they didn't have to go through an experience like I did. And that's the goal, so that, the athletes now have no limits, and can be at the peak of their career, have children, and know that they'll be supported to come back. So, yeah, it's a huge reward to see.
Has anybody ever say, hey, Allyson, what you did, not taking a Nike contract because of, they wanted to pay you less for your performance after having a baby, whatever. There's more details to that. Has anybody ever thanked you in person and stuff like that? Or you heard their story? What's an example of that?
Naomi Osaka has been one who has, just been really kind, showed a lot of gratitude. And for me, it's been incredible to, see her journey as well. And she reached out and we got to talk about it. And there's been other athletes as well who have just, really said that they appreciate it and they knew that it wasn't easy. And I think that, that just means a whole lot to me.
Now, I could be a good dad, but I see what my wife does and with our kids and the sacrifice she makes. And when she's tired, for some reason, she still finds energy.
Yeah.
What can you say about just being a mom and how important of a role that is to the people who may not know or may not understand how big of a role it is to be a mom?
Yeah, I think you always find a way, no matter how tired, exhausted you are, you have such a huge role, to take care of little ones. And so, to me, it's like the highest responsibility to have. And so no matter if I have to do the red eye, I'm doing the red eye so that I can do bedtime. I love doing drop off and pick up, just getting to talk to my daughter in those moments. So, parents out there, they get it, you do all the things and you just want to be there for your kids.
Are you still a sports fan in this area?
Yeah.
So what's the one team that's my LA team?
The Lakers.
Okay, all right. We'll start with the Lakers. Allyson, what's your greatest Lakers story that you had in your life?
Probably my favorite was going to Kobe's last game.
Oh, you're there. Okay.
Yeah, me and my brother went. We were season ticket holders for a long time, but that was just incredible to see and to be there. And with all that happened, it's just a special memory that I love to go back to.
So you're talking about how it's a special memory, and obviously Kobe literally dropped the mic on his career in that one. What can you remember about that moment, your reaction when you see Kobe just hitting shot after shot?
It was just unreal. Everybody's high-fiving each other, and you're just so excited, and just the energy. The energy was incredible. And I remember me and my brother just kind of looking at each other this is wild that we're witnessing this. So yeah.
What will be the other team? Anything else?
I love the Sparks as well.
Okay, all right, you got the Sparks. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So any famous or funny stories? Anything in regards to the Sparks?
Candace Parker was there for a long time, and I remember coming to her games and supporting her, and just always having a good time there, bringing my daughter.
Trivia question. Remember I showed you the LeBron picture?
Yeah.
For the Gatorade Player of the Year. Do you know who was the girls basketball Player of the Year that year?
Candace.
Yeah.
It
It just blows my mind the amount of athletes that were there.
Yeah.
If you think about that, LeBron was with you for that Gatorade Player of the Year, and out in LA playing. Candace Parker out in LA playing. When you think of that journey of all those players that you've been around, who's probably one player you're just man, I can't believe I met them, or I went to a game with them, or I supported them? Who would that be?
Oh gosh, all of those. Adding Kobe in. Serena is one who I just respect so much. Venus as well. Also both being from here. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Dodgers fan?
I'm a Dodgers fan.
Okay. Yeah. What's it like, back-to-back champions?
It's incredible. It's just to be, at this time and to support the Dodgers, it's unreal. And just the energy in the city, I love it, when they're making a run and, everybody is all into it. And they're just doing incredible things.
What was like a childhood memory or like your first game you ever went to? Anything like that?
My first game I ever went to, you know what? I didn't go to a game until I was in high school.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I remember, because this will show how old I am, Staples was brand new.
Okay.
And
so you're 2 years old, right? You're 2 years old.
And I remember me and my friend, we went to Staples. We didn't have tickets or anything. And at the time, we bought like nosebleed seats from scalpers. And we're way at the top, but we're just so excited to be there. And I don't even remember, I mean, I guess it had to be, I guess it was a Lakers game, but we were just excited to like be in the building and, it was brand new and all of that. So that definitely sticks out.
Do you remember like who was playing?
I don't even, we probably could barely see.
Oh my God. I mean, you were in the nosebleeds. I always joke and say like, that's where they sold like oxygen instead of popcorn.
I mean, they should.
Okay. But shoot, Allyson Felix was so high up, they couldn't even see the players. Wow. Going back to just your childhood, being from here, like, what did Allyson Felix do when she was like 13, 15 years old around this area that obviously we're just too old to do now?
Well, I grew up in my neighborhood and, everything from, riding bikes, roller skates, just in the neighborhood, going to the community center. I remember I did gymnastics there, learned to swim, in Culver City. And my mom used to walk laps around the Dorsey track. And so me and my brother would be out there, playing. I think it's actually called Jackie Robinson Park. But I mean, we were in the neighborhood and just doing regular kid things.
Like, what's your go-to restaurant out here that you like to go to? As a kid.
As a kid, as a kid.
Or a teenager.
Yeah, as a family, El Cholo was very important to us. We went for every birthday.
Right.
Harold and Belle's was for a special occasion, usually after church. So those are two like staples for me as a family. And still, I love them to this day. Like, yeah.
When you look at yourself and you're from this area, you ran track, USC, and then these LA 28 games are going to be back here. When you look at just in the entirety, like your entire career, how would you just describe the story of Allyson Felix?
I think one of kind of perseverance and evolving. When I first got into the sport, it was so much about, medals and trying to achieve and, trying to break records and all of that. And then I think it really evolved in the middle. And I think I found my voice, I found purpose. I never would have imagined that I would use my voice on anything because I'm shy, I'm an introvert, like this is just not who I am. But I found it and I started to, be able to understand I had a platform. And so, now it's kind of crazy to even think, wow, I'm now here I go again on another pursuit. But I think I'm a completely different athlete now, with all that experience and wisdom. And I think I'm a person who, pursues passion, and that's where I'm at.
Who do you think you got that from? Like, did it come from like your dad, your mom?
I mean, both of my parents were really hard workers. They're both people of service. My dad's a pastor and my mom was an elementary school teacher. And so I just saw them pour into people's lives and also have a ridiculous work ethic. And growing up, it was like, if you committed to something, you were going to finish it, see it through. And I've definitely carried that and just their reverence of character and integrity through my life as well.
If you had the opportunity to just race any like track athlete, doesn't matter how big or small or whatever event that they did, but they're going to run in your event. You pick one, 200 or 400. What do you want to run?
I mean, I'll always say 200.
200. All right. So pick an athlete that you'll love to race against. Of course, you will win no matter what. But who would you love to race against?
Probably someone from the past. I mean, Evelyn Ashford is like a hero of mine. So I would probably say her. I feel like she's an unsung. We don't give her enough praise, but yeah.
See, me, I'll be like, I want Bolt. Like,
and
beat him. And beat him. I can wake up from that dream a little bit later.
Go for the top.
But and beat him.
Yeah.
Take me into just your mindset. You know, when you go back into this track and field world.
Yeah.
What's the mindset of like Allyson Felix when she like gets there in the blocks? Like, what's
Yeah.
what's that person like?
For me, it's just dialed in. You know, it's thinking technical thoughts, and that always helps me kind of
Really?
block out the noise. Yeah. You know, before I get to the blocks, I always have a moment of like gratitude, you know, of just having this opportunity. And then it's locked in. It's, you know, it's very, what am I doing out of blocks, 10 meters, 20 meters, so that I can not be thinking about anything else.
See, that's where you know we're like track athletes at a totally different level. When I ran track,
Yeah,
you know,
where was your head?
your boy finished 7th place in the Connecticut State Finals.
Oh, that's okay.
No,
I see you.
I had the football speed. I didn't have the track speed, and I was in the state of Connecticut, which, you know, probably 10 people there. But I was always thinking like, okay, how can I beat these guys and dominate them? But you're at a level where now you're just thinking about like technical stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming down to, you know, hundredths of a second, and so you've got to just have everything perfect.
When you run, do you have your hands like this? Is it?
I kind of have them relaxed a little bit.
Yeah. Like, cause I saw you run. I was noticing the hands. Like, they always told me like pretend like you're holding a potato chip, and I think they probably said something that wasn't true. But like, take me through your like, how do you relax when you're running?
Yeah, I try not to think about it too much. As far as, you know, it's either open hands or kind of, you know, pretty relaxed. But yeah, I'm thinking. All the work is done in practice, you know, and so that's when I'm thinking about technique and things like that. And when I get out to race, I only want to have like one thing in my mind, you know, one cue. And so it might be whatever I'm working on that day, but then everything else should be automatic, and it should feel easier. Then you shouldn't be tensed up, and you know, your jaw should be relaxed, and it should, you know, shouldn't look like you're straining.
I need you to keep it real for me real fast.
Yes.
All right, so Allyson Felix, she get to the blocks. You're not thinking about the competition like, oh, girl, I'm going to whoop your butt. None of that stuff. You're like, all the technical stuff. But when the race is over, let's say you won the race, what is she like? Is it, obviously you don't want to talk trash to the person, but like, is there, what's that person like when you cross the finish line and you finish first?
You know what? I'm usually looking for where can I lay down? Like,
oh, really?
I like, especially if it's a 400, I'm looking for somewhere out of camera view that I just so exhausted. Like, there's nothing like just, you know, lactic acid and your legs are burning. And you guys like to interview us one step off the track. And
well, so we got to get it as soon as you cross over.
Usually I feel delirious. I'm like, I can't even get my thoughts straight. So usually I'm just trying to like get some type of composure. And of course, like either happy or frustrated, you know, with whatever the outcome is.
What I've noticed in track and field is that like the 400, when I ran it back in the day, like that was the thing that was like the worst.
Yes.
You would die after that.
Still is.
Now it's like the 800. You
well,
like,
yeah, it's
like,
a sprint now. Yeah.
You've been around the track game for a while now. You know, 2-3 years you've been around. We keep doing that. How would you talk about the way the game has evolved, and how are you going to adapt to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's completely different. There, you know, the talent level. You know, even, you know, the spikes that, you know, the athletes are wearing, it's just advanced. You know, for me, I'm still going to be me, you know, and I feel like I have a great coach who's still been in the game, and, you know, I think he's really going to adapt my training to where I'm at in life. And so I think I really have to use what I have to my advantage, and then, you know, put all the other pieces together, and just, you know, realize that my strength is in who I am, and I'm gonna, you know, give it my best.
I wonder what if it's in your head, like you're saying, I'm gonna give it my best, but in your head is like, yo, I'm about to. Let's talk more about the technical stuff, like your shoe, right?
Yeah.
Like how much of that communication goes into like what I want from my shoe? How can it make me faster? Because I don't work in the shoe business. Yeah. You have more, you know, a voice in that. Like take me into how do we prepare the right track spikes for you and your shoe company? Yeah.
So. I mean, the shoes that we make in our sneakers at our company, Sage, they are fit to the form of the female foot. And so a lot of the larger companies, they're not making shoes for women. And
really?
Yeah, and so there's a consequence by wearing shoes that are not made for you. And so I love what we get to do at our company, because we get to say, you know, celebrate women in a holistic way and create product that's specifically designed for them. And then with like track spikes, now there are carbon fiber plates, and, you know, there are all these advancements that have been made since, you know, I was competing. And so it's, it's a whole kind of new field.
Now, before we wrap this all up, how do you balance now? Because you said your daughter's like 7. You have another kid, I believe a son.
I have a son, yeah. He's
how old
2.
is he? Who's
He's
2?
2,
Oh,
yeah.
2. Yeah, my son's 3. So I
Yeah,
get
know.
it. I get it. How is Allison, the mom and the track athlete, gonna balance all of that?
Yeah.
Which I know you can.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be able to focus on this. My life has been really busy since I left, and I have 2 companies that I run, and I do a lot of travel, and so this is going to be the focus, and I'm going to actually get to dial back on those other responsibilities, and I'm going to put everything into this, and I've already started, and it's really felt like a gift to myself to slow down and to say, like, okay, I don't have to be everywhere. I can do this, and that allows me to show up for my kids, and to be at the baseball games and whatever they're into. So I'm really excited for this time.
For the people at home, the mothers, or even just the fathers out there, what can we learn from Allyson Felix in this whole journey of this comeback to try to make the LA 28 games?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I hope that people see is just the courage to try. For me, I think it scared me a lot, or I didn't feel like at this age, you're not supposed to be doing this. Yeah. And I think, that really stood in my way, and to say, I'm not going to buy into that. Maybe that is right. Maybe it's not going to work, but I think sometimes you have to do the big, bold thing and go for it. And I think that's across industries, whether it's a pivot in life, a new job, a big transition or a retirement. It's all change, and sometimes you have to put yourself out there.
So you're saying that I need to put myself out there to try to run track again?
Come on.
I'm gonna pull a hamstring on my first race. Allyson, I appreciate your story, your journey.
Thank you.
I wish you the best. I hope I sit back, or I'll probably be covering the games, and see, oh wow, she actually did it. And prove all the doubters wrong and proved yourself right. So thank you so much for joining the Sports Central podcast.
No, thank you for having me.
All right.
Appreciate it.